critical of, because again, I'm 31 and how the hell do I see this? And you work for them and you have never questioned the history of Dr. Fauci. You have never questioned all of his suggestions over the years. Do you know his track record? Do you know all the things that this man has suggested that have not worked? Not recently. I'm talking about all the way back to the 1980s and 90s when he became one of the individuals who became America's doctor. You need to research the people who you work for and with so that you know that you may be a party to the destruction of your people unwittingly, unknowingly, unintentionally. And too many black folks help to destroy their own people and their culture. Mexicans, Jewish people, white people even help to destroy their own people without even knowing it, because they go along with a damn script that was pre-written by someone who does not have their better interest at hand.
So what is the purpose then? What is the purpose then of them worldwide and putting talking heads up for all of us then?
Absolutely. And I love this argument as well. This is why they don't like to have your brother on. There was an advisor to President Jimmy Carter by the name of Zbigniew Brzezinski. He stated that in earlier times, quote, I just
want to say, if you ever end up on Jeopardy, you win in the whole thing.
Zbigniew Brzezinski particularly said, quote, in earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people than to physically kill 1 million people. But in today's time, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control, end quote. Global 2000 was authorized under President Jimmy Carter. In Global 2000, which is a government policy, you can go ahead and look this up. It specifies how to use food as a weapon and how to use reproductive services as a weapon. If you go back to Dr. Henry Kissinger in 1974, who was the 32nd Secretary of State under President Richard Nixon in Gerald Ford, Chapter 6, he specified, quote, depopulation should be the highest priority of U.S. foreign policy towards the third world, end quote. They specified that the population is outgrowing our ability to control them. And so at this point, do you think that a government is interested in having people stand up against them interracially, interreligiously, interconnected culturally, and you think they're not going to do something about it?
All right. Welcome to another studded episode with Exquisite Conversations podcast. I am King Jacob, and this podcast is sponsored and powered by Exquisite PR firm, where the owner, founder, and CEO is Miss Nicole M. Jordan. And we have another exciting show for you this evening, and none other than my man, longtime friend, been rocking him on this music scene for a long time, and became a brotherhood, my man, Penn Franklin. What's good, man?
Hey. What's going on, people? What's going on?
What's happening, man? What's happening, man? So, we're gonna be talking about, man, the corporate structure of the music industry and why it should be so important to artists.
Okay. Well, I mean, the structure is definitely important. I put it like this. I got my realization, Firefly 2016, which is a festival that we have out here in Dover, Delaware. Music festival, Firefly. We coming back. But but what we wanted to do was we wanted to get some guys who can put the stages together. And what they did was they pretty much just put the steel beams up, the speakers, the monitors, all of that. So I thought to myself, I sung on many of stages, but I've never really known what it took to actually put a stage up. So once I did that job, it was almost like I was able to appreciate having that platform to create on. And for me, it correlates to the question that you asked. How important is a business? The music business, and you have to have that stuff straight. You have to. Just so you can get the full circumference of how it's supposed to go. Not just the fun part, creating the studio vibe, But also, the admin work, the publishing. You get what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff is very, very important because I mean it's almost like don't nobody care until everybody cares. So you have to be able to put it down and document what's going on. And we know some contracts is what's important. That's what changed lives.
Right. We got T Quest tapping in from the Fleet DJs. She's a DJ, she's a recording artist, promo queen, some of everything, man. Been in the industry for a while, and appreciate her tapping in with us, and and shout out to her and her team as well for always, supporting.
All right.
And she says, facts. All elements are of the process of importance, for sure. So Frank, it's been a while since you tapped in with me,
Yeah.
On the live, and so for people who don't, really know you, but a lot of people do, thousands of people do, so maybe even millions. So, talk about you in your music craft. Like, when did it start?
It started 20. No. I'm going to say professionally, I started making music like, 2005, I'll say. And I'll say professionally. But as far as with just my passion and my love for music, then I would have to give that credit towards my sister, who passed away, Jamie. She had a deal with Michael Bivins when she was 14. So there was an opportunity for her to go on tour, but the family basically decided that she was too young to really go on the road like that. And I watched my sister cry for like 4 days straight. And I just remember feeling like I wanted to help her. So when I would hear her in her room singing, I would just join her. And that's where I really got my first passion, to create music for my sister.
Okay, that's dope. And shout out to Miss Latasha Bingham for checking in. Thank you so much. All love and respect for sure. So, started out with your sister, right? So, upon doing that, because it seems like it's many gifts of musical ability in your family. So, so did that stem from, your grandmother, your mom, your granddad? Like, who did it stem from?
I mean, all of them, to be honest. My dad's a singer. In the family, they used to call my mom the movie star, I mean, it was just I'll put it like this. My family is very sharp. There's some great individuals in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm just fitting on in with them. I'm just picking up where they, left off, because the talent is spread all throughout my family. In fact, on my latest project, the Facebook Journal 3, I actually have my niece singing on the records with me. So it's kind of like a full circle with me. Like, I started making music with my, for my sister and with my sister. And unfortunately, that she's not here. Her daughters and her son is still here. So in essence, I still have her voice, on track with me.
Okay. And so once your pops, your mom, grandparents discovered that you had this talent as well, what was those conversations like?
Well, truthfully speaking, that is a great question. But truthfully speaking, I've always had support since I was younger. Even when I was, too hard-headed to really see it. But I've always had support from my family. Like, they encouraged me to go. Like, they felt like, strangers sometimes come up to me and they're like, yo, no, you're going to make it big. And I'm like, whatever making it big is, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? But I can honestly say, since inception, I've always gotten support from my family and strangers.
Right. So they knew you had this amazing gift, and then your peers, grade school, middle school, high school,
Right.
How did that raise your popularity in school? Once they find out that you can sing, man, when you either when you play sports or you can sing or you just a really suave brother, can dress? Are you that chick that always got the flare hairstyles, and she wear the big bamboo earrings and
At least,
we talking about in our day when we was in school. So
right,
it was always those 4 or 5 chicks that stood out. You know
right,
what I mean?
absolutely.
And what was crazy is all of them hung together. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So once people start, cause I know when we was in school, man, there used to be cats, in the lunchroom singing. There used to be cats, at recess huddled up singing, whether it was Jodeci, whether it was. I remember when "Through That Scream" came out, "Cry No More." It was
Okay.
so many people that tried to sing that "Cry No More" and up on the roof and stuff like that, man. So was it the same for you when you was in school as well?
Um, I was multifaceted in high school and middle school. I was involved with a lot of different groups. I stayed after school every day. If it wasn't for Sigma Beta, if it wasn't for chorus, because I was in chorus, um, you know, so it's interesting that you bring that up because I was actually just talking to a good friend of mine, and I was telling him, I said, popularity is like funny, it's like a fine line with it as well, because just because people know of you don't essentially mean they know you.
Uh-huh.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I feel like you can still quote unquote be in the light, but still be reserved as well. It's a time and place for everything. So I
Uh-huh.
feel like when it's time to shine, it's okay. It's good for humans to feel that. So, and to answer your question, in school with the girls, I actually would like try not to tell them that I sing because if I tell them that I sing, then they're gonna assume I'm trying to be extra suave and I'm trying to I'm trying to do more than I have to. But I've learned that when I tell them that I don't sing, if I tell them I got a regular job, I'm regular degular, and they find out that I sing, then they tend to support me a little bit better versus me leading with it.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that.
Yeah,
When it comes to entertainment and they don't know and they show up somewhere and it's you and
yeah,
y'all just have casual conversations in passing, what's up, how you doing, what's going on, and they come through there with some of their friends or something and they see it's you, they was like, oh wow, I didn't know. And
yeah.
then they said, well, why you didn't tell me? Like, I don't think it was a topic of discussion.
You
So
get
I'm
what
glad.
I'm
Yeah,
real. Like,
I'm glad you came though. Yeah, that's dope.
and,
That's
and,
dope. So
and it's more authentic too, because you shouldn't have to treat me a different way just because I'm a singer. At the end of the day, like I was taught that a man's or woman's gift will make room for them. Yeah.
uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
if I want to operate in my purpose and be able to use that to my best of my ability, then I can't abuse it. You know.
So the reason why I asked you that, man, because when it comes to singers and athletes, and this is for the for the males I'm talking about. I just know for brothers that sing or rap or they play sports or they everybody want to be around them because they were suave or they was just a comedian of a funny dude.
Yeah.
Their friends use them as leverage so they
Absolutely.
can get girls. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen, listen, listen. Back in the day, they used to have something called the Philly Donut and the Baltimore Raven and the party line. You don't know how many of my friends will be like, "Hey, yo, sing on my voicemail," so they think I got vocals. I'm like, so what you gonna do?
Yo, listen, man, it's so funny you say about the party line.
I'm telling you. I'm
Listen,
telling.
bro, that party line would have you meeting girls from all over the nation.
Absolutely.
That's wild. That's wild that you talk about the party line, man. That's dope,
Hello,
man.
hello.
What's going
Hey,
on?
what's
How you
happening?
doing?
What's happening?
I'm
What's
well.
happening?
I'm well. I'm sorry, you guys. I had technical difficulties. Seriously.
You good? You good? You good? We was just speaking of whether you're an athlete or you're a singer, you're a rapper, or you just a funny guy, you're a comedian, and how friends use you as leverage to get girls.
Every time.
And we was just speaking, from a male perspective on, if your boy can do this and the third, or if they said, man, you know who his dad is or his mom is, yeah, man, like they ain't gonna never say nothing to him. He can get in all the trouble he wants. They ain't gonna even tell on him because they like his parents so much. You know what I mean? And it's like friends that use you as leverage because they be like, man, why that can't happen to me? And we would be like, man, show off. Why not, bro? Why not? Go ahead. So Frank, with you being able to sing, man, I said to myself, oh yeah, I know they use him as leverage.
I mean, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I said I turned professional in 2005. And I took advantage of that for sure. Oh, you need me to sing something? This is what it costs. Come on, let's get it done. But one thing that's interesting, I will say, is though, having a good ear in music, it's kind of like, I put it like this: there's pros and cons to it. For example, when I hear a song that I feel like is really good and I can catch it early, it might have 100 views, right? But I would feel so passionate about the record, I'll say, no, it got to go on my playlist. I got to tell people about it, and it essentially grows with its own legs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once it reaches the point of now everybody's listening to it, now I'm technically over the record, but now I'm forced to hear it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's almost like that's the kind of being early. It's like, yeah, you was there, you got everything, accomplished, but then it's like, now when it's time to, move on to the next, you also have to carry that of, you go to the grocery store, it's playing, you hop in somebody's car, it's playing, it's all on TikTok. It's just like you're being forced to hear it. When you bought it early, and it's like, that's one thing I always found interesting about having a good ear and, just being musically inclined.
Okay.
Absolutely. When you get tired, so you kind of get tired of your own music, kind of not really like downplaying it, but just like you've almost perfected.
Yeah.
You perfected it, so you just be like, damn, you on to the next thing now. So.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's more with the promotion grind as well. When I was promoting Spanglish, we did 4 million streams, and I could tell you honestly and wholeheartedly, I used to listen to that song so much. I heard those guitars in my dreams. Okay, because you got to think, for a 90-day campaign, I'm returning emails, I'm sending links, I'm responding to comments, I'm running different campaigns to grab a different audience. I'm doing all these things, and it's, in essence, I have to keep playing this record because who else will do it?
Me. Me, I do it. And so you guys, I want you guys to tap into Exquisite Conversation Podcast. We're here every Wednesday night between 8:30, 9:30. We're trying to see what time you guys want to hear us. Tonight, you guys, we got Big Frank, 302 out of Delaware. You guys, he's chilling with us, and he got some new music out. We've been posting it. You guys are going to see him around here real soon. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get him down here in Tennessee in like the next couple of weeks. Hopefully that's going to be a surprise. We might be able to tap in with some things. But if you guys can like, comment, and share. I don't know what y'all been talking about besides Big Frank's music. I want to know, what do you want? What is it that you really want to have? Because you've done so much and you've been doing it like what now, 20 years? 20 something?
We're approaching 20 years.
Wow. They must not know how old you are. That's what makes it like so amazing. Like 20 years. You guys, he's still really young. So this is like something that you want. When did you do your first wedding?
my first wedding, I was a child. I was 16, and it was some family members who, they was like, "Hey, I always said when I get married, you gotta sing at my wedding," So I was around, and I decided to do it, and I got dressed up. I'll never forget. My mother dressed me up, got me, looking debonair and all of that.
Yeah.
But I seen the I've sung at funerals, and that's garners one reaction. But to do it at a wedding where the spirits are more lifted, it was a great experience. So yeah, I was 16 years old to answer your question.
Yeah. Wow, man! When you said you sang at a wedding 16 years old, my mind went elsewhere, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you 16 and you singing, and if everybody at the wedding ain't as they say, booed up, you have some of them creepers looking in the and like, who that young boy singing that song like that? What he know about that?
Most people are almost forced. You can really barely get a guy 16 to sing at a wedding. You got to pay him some big money to do that, unless he's really into music. A guy 16, not really common. That's not really common.
So Nicole, the thing about black dads, they might mention it to the mom. But if they mention it to the day, hey, your boy can sing right. But we always said that we wanted him to sing our wedding, and we got the same bloodline, right? So I need you to go ahead and slide that in there to him. And coming from your dad, be like, just do it for him. They expecting it anyway. So you know what I mean?
Right, hollering out the back, y'all funny.
Yeah.
Y'all something else, and you got a hot new one. What propelled and motivated your new hit?
Well, because we were speaking about my son earlier, I have a message to the young men, and basically it's, you was a man before her, you're gonna be a man, and that's the message I want to just encourage the young men. So,
okay.
In this most recent record, it's called Show Me, and it's featuring my first artist that I ever signed and worked with, Amina J. She's a phenomenal vocalist, songwriter, all that. But the record is called Show Me, and it's actually I guess an homage. I don't want to say homage, but it's more of an homage for Glenn Jones. He's the original creator of the record.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, who?
Okay.
Who?
Yeah. Listen, Glenn Jones, that was that Saturday morning music. You understand?
Right. See, I didn't know. Now I knew a lot about it, but I didn't know that part. That's the creeper, Glenn Jones. Okay.
Yeah. So
wow, that's you talking about Glenn Jones and Peebo Bryson and James Ingram and yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
I felt like
you went back. Jesus, people.
Look, and I gotta give credit to one of my business partners, Big Ran, Rec Entertainment. That was our group that we ran with in Jersey that we created, and that's who Amina was signed to, Rec Entertainment, and he actually just hit me up and was like, "Yo, you should redo that Glenn Jones record. The way you sing, man, kill it for me one time." And I said, all right, I like challenges, you know what I'm saying? So I said, all right, let me see what I do. And I believe it came out very well. But I do have an interesting fact that is exclusively for Exquisite and the Chatterbox. The in-studio video that we released of the record, Show Me, that was actually edited by my son.
Oh, wow, okay.
He took my iPad and just started pushing buttons. And when he handed it back to me, I said, I'm posting this right now.
Hey man, you know what?
So he got it honest, man. That's what that means.
Yeah.
He has it honest. He didn't even know it. Okay.
These kids,
oh my goodness, I'm over here antsy now. I'm like, oh, I think I might dry that way.
I'm telling you.
Really as you say, Nicole, that these kids what you call it, techie?
Yes,
You know
tech
what I mean?
savvy, definitely tech
Yeah, yeah,
savvy.
yeah. So these kids do anything with a computer. They'll be 12 years old and draw a whole blueprint of their dream house.
That's
Yeah,
it.
if you want to
And
know, give it to your 6-year-old. They can fix it.
and
That's
and
it.
they can barely spell the word house. It can draw you a whole blueprint and everything, man. Like I'm like I was listening to something, man, and this white lady said she just set her Surface Pro down, and she said when she came back, her 8-year-old had a design that she's never seen, like an interior design, just like was. She said she was watching television. She wasn't paying attention. She said that baby was on that thing for 2 hours and quiet. So her husband said, "What are you doing in here with this computer?" So
Mhm.
when they looked at that computer, boy, man,
It was a masterpiece.
She didn't
that
did this
lady
pack.
said that lady said she almost ran out of the house like she was on a U.S. track team.
Look, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I was listening to I was watching something on I believe it was TikTok.
Mhm.
A little girl had came into a room. I don't know who I was talking to on the phone, but a little girl had came into a room, and it was a message, and it said when you lie to your granddaughter about Chuck E. Cheese being closed on Sunday.
Okay.
And she said, Grandma, Chuck E. Cheese is open. And she said, how you know that? And she said, see, she showed her the phone. And she said, how you know? And she pushed the button and said, is Chuck E. Cheese open today? So she must have told I said, get up and take that baby to Chuck E. Cheese because you know he was lying.
These kids, man, these kids,
They're
man,
advanced. They're super
they,
advanced.
yeah,
And she
they
was
are.
so serious. You guys can go to TikTok and look at that. It's so cute. And her face is so innocent. And she asked her another question. And so she pushed the next button and she was asking it again. I was like, it's so innocent. But she doesn't know how profound that was that she did that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, shout out Siri. Absolutely.
Mhm. So
Absolutely.
Frank, listen though, man. What are some of the statements that you get after you do a performance?
The craziest thing that's ever happened and the craziest statements. That's what I want to know.
The craziest statement.
Not crazy bad, crazy, maybe sexy, crazy, maybe that made you be like, wait a minute, is this real? Or what made you know that, like, this real and I made it. I'm here. I made it. What really made you know that you are Big Frank 302?
Well, that's a great question. I would say I got a lot of statements, various different statements. I can tell you I got my name Frizzle when I used to go by Frizzle. I got that from actually 20 Korean girls.
Wow.
When I did a show, I opened up for Troop in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they was at the show, but they was all together. And when I got off stage, they were like, Frizzle! And I don't know what they were saying at first. But then I was like, wait a minute. I like that. I'm gonna go by Frizzle. And I just started, when I would rap, I would always, Frizzle, and people like that, you know what I mean? So, but I've also got statements like, why ain't you on? Or would you come to a meeting with me? I need somebody to hear this, And there's been multiple times that I would perform my I Love You record and people would cry, like strangers I never met would cry. And that kind of it definitely gave me a realization that the power of music is bigger than what I could even imagine,
Absolutely. The frequency.
Yeah.
Frequency. Yep, absolutely.
So,
Definitely
so
do.
Nicole, I want Frank to tell you about an older record, right?
Mhm.
And Frank, we talked about the record a few times, man. But
We sure did.
I remember how much I used to listen to your song "Living a Lie." Oof. Boy, you really just told her what it was. You know what I mean? When you were singing in this record. So, what did that record stem from?
When I wrote "Living a Lie," and that was another homage to Boyz II Men. I took some of their cadence, just so people can identify with the record. But all the lyrics was mine.
Mm-hmm.
But it stemmed from, of course, that was after my first divorce. So I wanted to have a conversation, that I probably should have had, like as more mature when I was actually living it. So while I was, like repairing from it, because divorce is a whole nother thing. Like, it's people try to brush it under the table, but like I tell a lot of my young men that's in relationships, it's a contract. So the boyfriend girlfriend stuff is one thing, but until half your shirt belong to her, you don't understand what you're talking about. It's a different. But I wanted to, like I said, express myself in a way that I could kind of identify just with young relationships, because that's exactly what it was. Because if you remember the visual, the girl in the video, she kept drinking.
Right.
She was trying to numb herself, when in reality she was running from being in the reality of what's really happening in the relationship. She was numbing it. And on the guy's side, if you notice, he kept coming in and out, like he kept leaving and coming back. So he was running too, and I had another artist, Shantae, that I worked with, Shantae Rio. Shout out to you. She was on the hook with me, and it was a good record. I believe it opened things back up for me around that time.
Oh yeah. It was a very good record, because I remember me being in Trenton, New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember me and my cousin riding up there, right? And we just at somebody's studio, right? And he was like, "Man, who sang that?" I said, "That's Big Frank 302." He said, "Well, he got a new fan." He said, "Because that man said, living it like, Lord have mercy, man." He said, "Boy." And then you came up with them, shake them off, you was going through something, and people was telling you, you gotta do this, but you was just shaking them off, you know what I mean? And that was a pretty groovy record for you too, Shake Them Off.
Yeah, Shake It Off. Shake It Off was it was an important time for me. There was some things on it I wish I wouldn't have said, but it still was how I really felt, so I gave it up honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people appreciated the fact that I was both rapping and singing on the record.
Yeah, you was really blunt on that record. Blunter
Yeah.
than I ever seen you before. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
who rubbed Big Frank the wrong way? Like, wow. Like,
Well, Jacob, I'm gonna tell you. Now that I'm, writing films. Shout out to Let Grow. Let Grow 2 is on the way. But now that I'm writing films, I wanted to challenge myself. Like I told you earlier, I like to challenge myself as an artist. So, I'm not just writing breakup songs no more, even though I'm good at it. All right. Because by the way, whoever's looking, whoever's watching, if y'all need that song, I will pin your sentiment. But now I there's other topics that I get a chance to kind of like, get a little bit deeper with, just to expand the creativity aspect.
Mm-hmm.
well, you right. And then, another one of my favorite tracks was Rescue. Yeah,
Rescue.
man.
Yeah, Rescue was cool.
Yeah, man. That it was a well put together track, and then it had a really important message behind it. So I was like, okay, man, he got something to say. So that right there, and then my favorite track, man, is two of them. Is of course is I Love You, and then Better. I'm waiting to see you get back into the studio and put this Better on the market. If you can just recite a little bit and tell them what you said in that Better, bro.
I wanna be the one who breaks the chain. I wanna be remembered in this game. I want my mom to finally find a husband And I want my dad to ball like it ain't nothing. I want to be the one who gets it right. I want my kids to know that daddy tried. Want them to free my ninjas in the pen. And I want to tell them don't do it again. See, this is all I want from you. But this is all I want from you. And this is all I want from you. 'Cause it's better, it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and man, I remember this track in 2014.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To 2014.
Yeah.
And
you
that
know,
right there, that 2014 was when Life Jennings,
Yeah. Yeah.
that Bumping at Life Jennings,
Yeah.
I heard that, and then I heard that, and I was like, Indeed.com.
All right. All right. All right.
I
Life
was like,
must be
Y'all
nice.
get him on the phone. Who is that? I don't know why I think I'm Warner Brothers or somebody. Get him on the phone. Who is that?
Yeah.
Like, how much
yeah.
this was big?
I
Call him.
appreciate the spread.
Yeah.
I really do.
Right.
I really do.
Yes, because that is
So-
hot. That's hot. I love you too. And I love Show Me. When I said Show Me, get him on the phone, Jacob, right now. Because I'm
Right,
mad about the fact that I didn't have something to put out there before the video. The partial came out, and is that a Nina? Oh yeah, call him. I was like, yeah. And then
10
you want
years,
to I'm like, where is he? Is he in
It's
LA?
been
Where's
10
he at?
years.
What is he
10
doing? I was blowing the phone down, messages and messages. He was like, I'm asleep, bro. What's going on?
You know, one of my photographers, he made an interesting post. He didn't tag me in it. So I was like, because the fact that it came across my feed, I guess it was just meant to be. But it came across my feed, and in the post he said, what did he say? He said, he said he dropped every year. Ain't one year went by that Big Frank ain't dropped. He ain't never.
Right.
And I was like, that's a bold statement. But
Yeah,
honestly,
man, you like Drake.
not though.
Drake, like I tell Drake, the thing between him and Kendrick take breaks. Drake don't.
Okay.
So Drake always gonna be top dog. Drake don't take no break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like you, Frank. You don't take no breaks. So
What's that?
you don't take no breaks, bro.
What?
So you
What's
always
that?
drop.
You regroup, you
Yeah.
rethink, but you don't take any breaks.
No, I can't let a year go by without me touching the net with something that's real. You know what I mean?
How when you dropped a track, how many songs have you had on a track? What have you had? 15, 13, 12? What's the longest, what's the biggest track you have had? What's the most songs you've had on a track?
Well, as far as with a project, I would say the journal series, the Facebook journal series.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's 10 records per project, so it's 30 records in entirety. But I'm telling you, the best part about that series is all the songs are connected. But there's a way. Yeah, there's a way you have to listen to it in order to get
understand
the
it.
whole story. Right. So
That was 2022, or was that 23 that you dropped that? 22?
That was 22.
Yes, 22
yeah,
dropped
that
journals.
was 22. Yeah, well, the third installment. So now I'm working on 2 other projects, and they both require healing. Like I said, the message to the young men about being a man, and we have some features along the way as well. Shout out to All Hell YT. Shout out to Left Lane. I know my cousin Hayes is doing his thing again. Shout out Claudine Wale.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some artists we working with.
Okay. And give me somebody that you want to work with outside of the ones that you got already.
Who I would like to work with?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. You know what? I would like to work with Wale. I would like to work with Wale.
That's gonna be hot. Wale?
We're going to the Broccoli Festival in DC. I believe he's performing. So I might I don't know. I might have to get Tweet Your Heat Media to do something, to show up and make an appearance. And
yes.
do something.
and so Frank,
I'm definitely gonna try to be in the building for sure for that.
Yeah.
I definitely would love to see you work with Eric Roberson.
Oh yeah.
man,
Yeah,
boy,
absolutely. Yeah,
boy, man, like,
all of them.
cause y'all are so much alike. You like how y'all write for other people and bring their voices to life. You know,
Absolutely.
that's him. He's a producer, writer, play
Yeah,
piano, guitar, and he can sing his tail off. Just
all of them.
like yeah,
What about PJ Morton?
yeah. PJ Tough,
Crazy.
man.
Come on, you know I put something crazy together with that. And
PJ
I
Morton
feel like,
Tough.
even though I worked with them in the past with Young
Uh,
Steph, and
uh-huh.
you know, when I was singing background for Steph, we talked about that last time.
Right.
But you know, Brian Michael Cox, all of them, you know, their pens was heavy back in the day, and they still got it. You
Yeah.
know, Rico Love, all of them. I mean, all
Yeah.
the real writers. To me, when I watch a movie, I'm really watching a movie for the writing aspect. Like I'm cool with the people who they have actually portray and to, you know, perform the story, but I'm more ingested with like the writing of it, how well you're able to take me somewhere and bring me back. You get what I'm saying? So the writing is like basically my favorite part of music creation.
That penmanship, yeah.
And Franklin.
Yeah, that penmanship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, when you got that penmanship, man, you know, that's a whole different level, man. You know, cause being a songwriter that can stem from anything like if we're gonna talk about gospel, man, who I like the way they write. I love the way J Moss write.
What? Listen, one of my favorites. One of my
Man,
favorites. He sing like a piano. Come
man,
on.
listen, man, and then it make it so more exclusive that he is a bloodline whining. You know what I mean?
Come on.
Bloodline whining. So it make it so much better. And then he got his cousin Mario Winans in the studio with him, like, and you talking about playing a piano and using that MPC drum pad, like that's like out of this world, man. Like so yeah, his penmanship, J Moss, it's serious, man. It's really, really, really serious.
When I would do a lot of church events and funerals, I always would start off with some J Moss because, like I said, I'm a fan of his vocals, and I know like just his penmanship is nice too. His writing, whether it's gospel genre or not, the writing is really good.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, I would always, you know, in fact, I would warm my voice up to some J Moss music, and that's a fact.
Yeah. Hey man, but you know what female got a pen for real?
Who's
Two
that?
of them, Candy and Tiny. Boy, they got a pen, boy.
Oh, Escape. Yeah, they wrote all the records.
Of course they do. Candy been in the game since what? King Had a Dream.
Yeah, man.
She's been writing for a long time. She was writing. No one knew she was writing.
When I found out how many songs that Candy and Tiny co-wrote together, I was like, that's crazy. And then, you know, we look at T.I. as the rapper, but Tiny was the one who inked the deal with T.I. to write Bow Wow first 3 albums. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, so T.I. already had that. T.I. already had that bread before we even heard him on the mic.
That's how it is. You know, I was taught a long time ago, you know, whether they, you know, get anybody who's a big artist to perform the record, nobody gets paid more than the writer. Now,
right. I just found that out. I was reading no, I wasn't reading anything. I was watching Nori, and they were talking about that the writer always gets paid the most. Nobody gets paid more than the writer. I was like, I thought that was real interesting. I thought it was a producer, but it's the writer. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, the conversation is actually changing now in regards of the producer, because to simply give the production of a record 50%, it's starting to get kind of vague because of how people are creating music. See, there's not a live band no more. Everything is, you know, symphonic and, you know, pretty much digital. So in that, it's almost like I can't give the person who's pushing these buttons the same credit that I give that artist who actually knows how to play that instrument. So,
Okay.
All right.
so what they're
I can see
doing is
that,
yeah, they're having a conversation now about leveraging those points, and I mean, to me, it's an interesting conversation because I do both. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
produce and I write. So, to
And you
me,
know what's so interesting to me is when we're sitting and while I'm watching these people who have been in this music game for so many decades talk about how long they've been doing what they love and have not been paid for their craft.
yeah.
Or how you are on Spotify and people can download your music for $9.99 a month and listen to all 13 of your songs. That's real bogus. That's wrong. How do you get around that? How do you take back your profit? How do you take back what you own? What do you think?
Direct to consumer marketing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say website, which that's cool because if you have an attractive website, that garners it does its own thing. However, a lot of people just use their Instagram because it's free. Why pay a maintenance fee when you can do direct to consumer, detailing through your inbox? So, but at the same time, I'm gonna say this as well. I'm not totally against the stream life either. Only because, like I said about Spanglish, it was my biggest record with the 4 million streams. And once I seen what I garnered from that, and I know what type of work I put into it, I was happy with the results that I got. Okay. So in my mind, as a business owner, I just said, well, we made this amount with Spanglish. If I had 100 of them, that's self-sustaining income. And it's only going to go up. Like just today, I posted somebody from TikTok, use my record Spanglish. And to me, that's great because, yes, keep listening to it.
Well, V, what's so interesting, I was listening to Snoop on the podcast, and he was talking cash stuff about streaming.
Yeah.
And he was like,
you gotta be rich to do that.
I forget what song he said, but they was asking about the record. It was a song or a project. Mm-hmm. They said he said he had 1 billion streams, so he called his attorney. He was like, "Hey, Ralph, how much that is?" He said 45K. He said he hung up the phone on Ralph. He said Ralph called him back. You all right, Snoop? He said, "Yeah, I'm all right, but this industry ain't all right."
Yeah.
He was just explaining, if you want a song, he said, well, man, just what happened to the snippets of 30 seconds, 45 seconds, to really keep people intrigued. But right. like I told Nicole earlier this week, what was happening is a lot of these cats were selling 100, 200, 300,000 out of their trunk, with the code on the back and the scan gun, and that was reporting straight to billboards and stuff like that. And so they had to find some way to stop it. Because especially in places like Texas and Memphis and New Orleans and Atlanta, the Carolinas, like they were selling out the trunk. They wouldn't ever put that in.
That's what Napster and LimeWire was. It was the counter to bootlegging.
Right.
Bootleg, we're going to put it on a torrent, download this torrent, and, LimeWire, Napster, all of them, that was the deterrent. However, from beginning, I could really say that from inception, I didn't understand who gave them the authority to put a price on it. You get what I'm saying? Because like if for you to say this is how much a stream is worth, says who? You get what I'm saying?
So who says that I want to sell this for $20? What if I want to sell it for $200? It's mine. Right.
Why is it only worth 38 cents on the dollar though? Like you telling me all this work put in, you gotta buy studio time. And we ain't talking about you just buying one session. You got multiple sessions studio time, and then you got studio A, studio B. You know, you got to take it to the mixing and mastering side, and then you got to what we call test the record, and you got to give DJs some bread to play this record in the club to test it, and you got to put it in different markets. And so artists, any artist is constantly spending bread no matter what. You know what I mean? No matter what, they're constantly spending bread, and so I just feel like the streaming services, yeah, you know, we got to deal with it because it's here. But if you really sit back and think about it, man, don't nobody benefit from Spotify but Spotify or iTunes. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you get to a point where you can communicate and cut a deal with them, you can.
Right now.
And that really should be the goal for any stream. You know, podcast stream is no different from a song stream.
That's right.
So, you know, I look at it like, don't just, like, for me, all these different platforms, not just streaming my music, I have big plans to do business with them. You get what I'm saying? So,
yes, I want some of that Joe Rogan money.
Exactly. Like, absolutely. You know, like,
I want
when streams is being sold for that much, let's do that. I can do it.
Bro, you know, it's unheard of that you give a podcast $16 million to sign on with you.
Well, it's the reach. It's essentially the reach. No different from ads being very expensive at Super Bowl.
Hey,
but
Frank,
here's my thing.
If you could have seen how Nicole Head went back when I said they gave Joe Rogan $16 million to sign on, she was like, "What?"
Listen,
yeah,
Joe, man. Because Joe Rogan. Thought 16 million, and with 16 million, I mean the things and the people that are homeless and the things that we're struggling with here in America, and you gave him 16 million to do a podcast. You know what I mean? You could have gave 15 other people, you know, $1 million to do podcasts and him $1 million, and we could have reached a lot more people and brought more money in and helped a lot more people.
Well,
you could have did some extra stuff with that money. Someone like, can we get $1 million bill over here?
I have a question.
Stuff in the hood. I'm just saying.
I have a question. So, like we discussed, they pretty much came up with their own numbers and rules and regulations, and that's why people, you know, like artists like Kanye West and stuff, been trying to maneuver around it, right? So my question is, yeah, you pay a Joe Rogan, you know, that essentially that much money to because of his reach, how many his target audience could actually have, and its potential growth as well, its projections,
millions.
But my question is, you know, I was taught that the internet is more like one big filing cabinet, right? Like a space to occupy. But to my understanding, it's not one entity that actually owns it. There's a couple entities that actually, you know, are responsible for it. But as far as the true ownership of it, it's just space. So in my mind, how are we charging for space that we don't own?
The same way they charge us for water that comes from the ground.
Well, check this. I'm gonna keep it going. Okay. I watch podcasts like the Joe Budden podcast, and he always does his drops, right?
Right.
Mel, Ish and Ice, you know, however it goes, you know, for his podcast. But what I learned is anytime your drop that you own or music production that you own and that is registered is played on a stream, that's called a CPU hit. And that CPU hit can be monitored and counted for. So every time he does those drops, he's supposed to get a check.
Right.
So I guess I was trying to drop a gem for whoever's listening.
I'm listening.
You know,
I'm listening. I heard you loud and clear.
And just another thing, Frank.
Elevate, never settle. Elevate, never settle. Are we gonna go ahead and put some lines on that? Elevate, never settle. That's gonna be something that we have over here tagged and numbered.
Now, Frank, I you know, since we're talking about this music, this entertainment, man, and this is what I want to know.
Okay, let's go.
I know tons of artists who made a lot of money in the music business, indie, mainstream, whatever they are. But my line of thinking, so okay, we're gonna take for instance, say me and you had a meeting with Warner Brothers, right? So my line of thinking is Frank been making music for a long time. So it's equity. It's equity in his music. So
Absolutely.
we gonna use that intellectual property to leverage about 4 different deals:
Absolutely.
a artist deal, a label deal, a production deal, and a movie deal.
Okay.
And with that intellectual property, I leverage over. So if you want some of my intellectual property, then I need 4.7 equity inside of Warner Brothers Music Group. So, I mean, I listen to these artists, but I never hear them talk about the intellectual property. Or I wonder, do they even know what that is?
Well, usually there's a team behind them who know what that is. And I'm sad to say, but a lot of times the artist is just the puppet. The artist is just the conduit to actually making the business, actually work and be successful. I actually just seen a video on Instagram, and the creator was saying how, basically if you put a bunch of, I guess content out online, and you basically want to attach to an audience that that's going to be right for you, right? So, of course, there's different algorithms and things like that that'll bring you all back in. But it's more essential for you just to almost have like a freedom to post. You get what I'm saying? Because once it starts to feel like work, then it's almost like you're going to be robotic, and you're just looking at numbers.
I totally agree with you.
You're not attaching to what's really being said. Like, we know what jokes.
It's not going to look realistic. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be authentic. Absolutely.
I mean, and that's just me paying attention to, how this game, really goes, And for example, I think last time we spoke about Bobby Shmurda, when he went famous for him throwing the hat in the air and it not coming down. And when that happened in the video, it was almost like that one clip of his video is what went viral. So technically it was a joke that we all shared across the world that made us laugh. And then the story was released and it was like, oh, this is a song. This song been out for months. You get what I'm saying? It was out for months before it went viral. And then the clip of all of us socially accepting the joke and the meme is what actually went viral and changed that young man's life.
Right. I remember when I lived in DC, Frank, we was talking about Cisco and his thong song, right? And they was talking about how it was such a joke, and the manager came in and hit on the board. He hit play on the board, and he was like, "What, man? What?" He was like, "Why you doing nothing with this?"
Look.
He said, "Man, this was just something that I did, and I was bored in the studio. I was drinking some cognac, and it's just something I did." He said, "I do not want that to put out. I don't really think women are going to appreciate that, or it's going to make me look." So to this date, that song has sold more than any of his solo songs and anything he ever sung with Drew Hill to this date.
Yeah.
So
but you know what? I believe that because
what other song does he have that's like good? Tell me something else besides that.
I mean, Incomplete was good, but the whole Drew Hill catalog, they was doing numbers, but not numbers like that. Not numbers, not like Script Club numbers, not like the Gentleman's Club numbers.
But 5 steps, we were like 5 steps. Come on,
maybe I don't remember.
You don't remember.
I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be here. So I say my prayers every night. One for my mother, one for my father, and one for the love of my life. So if you decide to leave today and leave half tomorrow at the door. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
and
song.
then we don't even talk about somebody sleeping in my bed.
Come on.
How that go? Tell me how that go.
Somebody sleeping in my
Okay. I'm gonna give him his props. I'll give him his props.
You know what, Frank?
I got lost.
You know
Every
what,
time
Frank?
I see him, I'm like,
We can't talk about music with her no more.
Look.
She can't be forgetting the R&B like that. You can't.
I love R&B. I love it, but I'm just saying. You said Drew Hill. Where the hell Drew Hill been? When last time I saw him, his hair was green, and I was done then with them spandex on his head. I was through.
He had the platinum hair. Cisco had the platinum hair.
Yeah, he had the platinum hair.
Yeah.
No, it was green when I seen him. I remember.
She wild. She said it was green. Hey, but Frank, what I'm saying, man, is a lot of times, like with R&B, like I listen to a lot of old school R&B. I listen to some new school too, man. But you know, I listen.
Where you find it? I've been looking for it.
It's out there. It's out there. But people say that what you're saying because the industry don't promote the dope R&B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like I can tell people, I ain't never heard a bad album from Tank, and Tank barely get played on the radio.
That's my guy. Like
yes, all of them. Where are they at? Tank, Avant. Somebody come home, sing, do something.
They on tour. They on tour right now.
Tour.
Nicole, you gotta call your local radio station. What you mean? What did they out here?
Because every time I play the radio, all I hear is sexy blue, red, purple. They got a whole.
Cause is y'all fans that's not requesting it no more.
Listen,
that's all.
I don't know. I'm trying to call her publicist because let me tell you, baby, Sexy Red. From the first song to the last song get played from 7 a.m.
It's just
every
day. If anybody who follows it up,
spins, do you hear me?
It's just an agenda, though. It's just a narrative. It's just a narrative.
Well, she didn't play. I mean, on every station. I was like, ain't this 102.7?
No,
she on here.
She ain't on no top 40 station. I can guarantee you that.
Listen, I mean,
no.
Listen. Me personally, I'm like, I like you said, I understand agenda and I understand, give the people what they want and
the narrative.
They certain stuff on that narrative that they just force on us. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's all, man. That's all.
You want to hear some slow jams? Bring it back.
But to answer your question, I mean, what you said earlier, I believe they are on tour. They have the R&B Money tour that they're doing now, and they're selling tickets. They're doing their thing.
Wow. Okay.
So
I would like to work with Tank too.
Yeah, Frank. Now, what's so crazy to me, Frank, is where I see a lot of people on tour, man, but it seems like New Edition been touring ever since Moses departed the Red Sea. I ain't telling no lie, bro. Boy, every time I look up New Edition on tour, boy, for real.
And while they doing that step, Ralph Trash ran him doing that. That step they be doing, that's not right. They be getting it.
They found to bro.
After that movie. After the movie, they be doing their thing every year.
Well, the tour is the money. The tour is the money, and that's the organic spread. When you spoke about, making sure the DJs have the music and different clubs and stuff like that, all of that stuff is still really important because you can't just focus on the numbers because that's how you have artists who might have 4 or 5 million streams, but they can't bring 3 people to their show.
Oh wow, that's so crazy! You've seen that before?
It's true. Absolutely. It's true.
Absolutely. So, to me, I just know like even having high numbers might, get the attention of certain artists, but at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to keep me there as a listener is it gotta be that work.
Yeah.
And because we're in this digital age, artists should be releasing more because 1, it's not making you no money just sitting on your flash drive. But 2, you have to give it an opportunity to grow and have its own legs and do something, and that's only because you can't just drop one song, and just wait 5 years for another one. Why? Because I shouldn't be able to come to your page and listen to your whole discography in 30 minutes.
You're right. Right.
Not in 2024. In 2024, you should have multiple albums, multiple tapes, multiple EPs. Because what else you been doing with your time?
Man, Frank, it's funny you say that, man. We ain't never been able to listen to LL Cool J discography in 30 minutes ever, bro.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man. Like you can tell who's been working over the years, though. You know what I'm saying? You can tell who's been working over the years.
Yeah, that's important. What you doing with your time, and where's your time going? And that's just period. In any industry, but in the entertainment industry, it's imperative that you utilize your time and you utilize it well. Because if you have to still pour into yourself, as people say, as people say, do you invest in yourself? And if you're still at that point where, you're investing in yourself and things haven't turned over for you yet, that investment. So you're still working really, really hard to, for things to grow its legs, as you say, and for what you're doing and building up for to take off running, make sure you utilize that time right. I still, do that, and I try my hardest to make sure that I, put my energy in the right place.
Yeah.
And as an artist, I'm pretty sure, I wish I could sing to let off some steam sometimes. I bet, I wish I can sing. I hear a lot of people humming and I can hum.
Okay.
I can't even shower sing though. That's the thing. It don't even sound good in there. Some people can.
Everybody can sing good.
No. Some people can get in that shower. You be like, oh, who is that? No, just not my thing. Okay. I do it, but I just stay in my lane.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And so, I think it's there. I think it would be therapeutic for, an artist. But let me ask you this. I know they say when you want a song to, on my end of the stick, pushing a song for an artist, they say, take it and step on the gas. But you know what that means. Go push it everywhere, right? That song, not this song. Oh, grab it. That song, while they're still doing their thing with the other, making more music. You know what I mean? How long would you say it takes someone to grab, how long do you think that it would take, a person, and it could vary, but something that's hot, that everyone thinks is hot, just that natural beat that everybody likes in 2024, that a song can get around to people, before it really can be set in stone that people like it. A year, 2 years, 6 months.
I mean, I believe you really know by inception. I know I keep bringing it up, but online wise, Spanglish was my highest streamed song, and just from the data that I was able to collect, for me, it was a 3-year process where I made the beat, so I produced the track, and then I wrote lyrics to it, and I knew it felt a certain way to me, at least. And what I did was, whenever I would have get-togethers or whatever, small group of friends, I would basically test the record out. I would play it to see how they responded to it. And granted, this is my friends and associates and family, so it's almost like a certain bias they're almost going to have for it. But depending on how well they react to the record as well is what I took as my data. And then 3 years later, I decided to actually release the record. But for me, it was perfect timing because we had just started experiencing COVID, and we lost a lot of people. It was a lot of confusion. So I took advantage of that frequency of, I know people are sad and confused right now. So instead of me making another song that's sad and confusing, why don't I make a song that's going to like rescue them out of that energy and dance it away? So Spanglish, I was like, Spanglish is going to get them out their seats to enjoy and feel and move again. And it worked. That recipe worked to my benefit.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like it. I love it. We are over time now.
All right.
I gotta get back in the studio. Absolutely. I don't know what just happened, but we are over time. I know Big Frank has to get back in the studio, you guys. I am Pavani J, and this is Exquisite Conversation Podcast, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.